Like, I was just saying, like, I'm not, like, a person. Like, I was, like, I'm just, like, a regurgitation machine.
Oh, I like that.
For, like, references.
That, you know what? That's useful.
Like, I'm saying nothing, but I'm like, oh, it's just like that scene in Signs. Nothing like the scene in Signs. Or, like, hey, it's like SpongeBob. Is there an original thought going on in here?
Is any thought original?
Oh. Yes.
Really?
I'm saying yes. You watch one episode of SpongeBob, and you're like, these geniuses. Hello.
And welcome to another episode of
Manic Pixie Dream Women.
We're your hosts, Mariah
and Layla.
And this is the podcast where we talk about all things post-grad, entering into the industry, and some films that may or may not have inspired us along the way.
True dat.
True dat. This week, we were talking about...
Gay.
Oh. Gay. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
We're talking about But I'm a Cheerleader. Whoa.
Hannah Montana, like, transition music?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh.
I can't really hear you that well, so I don't know if it was that good.
You just, like, made up that it was good in your head.
I was like, wow.
Wow.
Your hair looks like a princess right now, dude. You look like Rapunzel. They should cast you.
Oh, thank you. I feel disgusting.
Oh.
Came back from work. Feel like I was sweaty. Feel like my hair got naughty. So that's very nice.
Tonight, I'll be a naughty girl.
Yeah, that's,
your hair got
you heard
naughty.
it here first, people. I'm naughty.
Yeah, when you say it, like, seriously, I don't think it works.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, anybody, not, like, just you.
Thank you.
Like, I don't think anybody can just be like, I'm naughty.
Just
Ew.
Ew.
Yeah. You have to say it, like, naughty.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Guys, brain cells depleted today.
Yeah.
There's one maybe gonna be bouncing around like the little game between us.
It's crazy.
That might be all you'll get. I feel crazy. I'm a little sleep deprived because I was up until I watched Pretty Woman last night for the first time. And I was up till 3. Like that, I stayed up watching it until 3. And I am sleepy.
What are you, 16?
Damn. Sorry, I have a profound passion for films. Crucify me. When am I 16? Is that what you said? Why? Because I stayed up late watching a movie? Is that something like 16-year-olds
I don't know. I was just making fun. Because, like, it's funny because to me, I'm like, 3 a.m. Whatever.
Oh, like not that late?
I don't know. I have
What time do you normally start your job?
Well, usually I start my, like, online job at 10.
Mm-hmm.
But my in-person job, I usually work closing shifts, so not till 2. So it means that I really don't, except they started opening early, and I am scheduled for an opening shift on Friday.
So when
I was originally supposed to get in at 9:30. I got a text today that was like, "Can you come in at 8:45?"
Whoa.
Bro. Come on. That's not cool.
Bitch.
You can't text me 2 days before saying I have to get up a whole 45 minutes earlier. What the heck?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I really am a good employee. I'm very respectful. I'm flexible.
You can do a split?
I can do a split. I can't do a split.
Oh.
Shall we dive in?
But I'm a cheerleader.
But I'm a cheerleader. 1999.
And cheerleaders can't be gay.
Cheerleaders cannot be gay.
But male cheerleaders can be. Famously.
What the heck? What's up with that?
I don't know.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, I guess we should go into what it's about first for those who've not seen it. But I'm a Cheerleader, cult classic. When it came out, critics hated it. Fuck them. But now it's become a very, like, important film for the gays. And so basically it follows Natasha Lyonne plays a girl named Megan. She's 17 years old and she's a cheerleader and she is the hottest boyfriend in town, the quarterback. I don't know if he's the quarterback. He's just a football player. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And then her family sits her down, her family and friends, and they're like, "You're gay." And she's like, "I'm not gay. What are you talking about?" And they send her to a conversion therapy camp. And there she learns to first embrace that she is actually gay. And then they try to attempt to convert her. And she then embraces it even more. How was that? I'm so sleepy.
I feel like I remember like in earlier episodes too, you used to like give this plot summary. Like, do you remember there used to be a bit where you would like go on and on and on?
Damn. I just think if someone hasn't seen it, they should know.
No, that was very thorough.
Thank you. I like to be thorough. But basically,
it's gay. Wait, what's that Willem Dafoe mean? He's gay. Wait, how? What's another line?
Know. It's like he's gay. He likes to collect. Blah blah blah. No, it's like something so stupid.
He's gay.
But this was a movie that was very important in the careers of Natasha Lyonne, Clea Duvall, Melanie Linsky. Those were all like breakout roles for the three of them. Mm-hmm. Have you seen Veep?
No.
Clea Duvall. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know she's in it.
Her role is funny. It doesn't matter. I don't know what I'm saying. I need you to carry this. I'm so tired. Like, I don't know where to begin. Like, I guess feel like first impression.
You know that scene in SpongeBob when he's like looking around for his name? That's definitely the name. What's the name? Okay, this movie. It's pink. It's blue. It's male. It's female. It's gender roles. I'm just saying words now.
Yeah.
RuPaul's in it.
Yeah.
Michelle Williams is in it.
Yeah. For like 2 seconds. The woman from Before Sunrise.
Oh my God. Yeah, I recognized her and I was like, is that fucking the girl from Before Sunrise?
Yeah.
It sure isn't her. She's credited as lipstick lesbian.
Really?
Yes, she is.
Slay. God bless.
But yeah, it's a funny movie. It's interesting that it was panned by critics because it makes sense to me because I was watching it and I was like, I feel like this is a movie someone would make now. Like stylistically, aesthetically, it's very stylized. It's very like specific. It's also like it's satire, which I feel like at the time I'm sure genuinely went over a lot of people's heads. I can imagine high schoolers watching this and being like, are they serious?
Yeah.
You know?
And Jamie Babbitt.
That was a crazy name.
Yeah, it is.
Jamie Babbitt.
So basically, Variety had this article that came out in 2020 for the 20th anniversary of this movie coming out. And they asked her about the criticism of the critics. Critics who criticize. And she was saying that, you know, I mean, it was just coming off of, like, the AIDS epidemic. There wasn't really a lot of, like, funny comedic stuff being made about the gay community. Mm-hmm. And especially when it comes to like conversion therapy, she was like, I feel like people had a really hard time with like me making light of all of that.
Yeah. And
she was like, there also really wasn't any like funny comedies about lesbians specifically too. And it's funny that you say like, yeah, the critics hated how stylized it was, like with the color specifically, which is so crazy because I'm like, I feel like that's such a cool choice that they made.
And I think it's so well done at hitting you over the head with how fucking dumb it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 100%. if you separate it like, oh, you know, like the whole thing, like it's so well crafted in the way that it's like, and you have to, you know, make sure you know how to chop wood as a man, blah, 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 blah. Like, all those specific roles.
Yeah.
Where you're just watching it and you're like, this is so dumb. At one point, this was my Letterboxd review. I got, like, you know, it's a genuinely very sweet movie, too. And you have those moments of, like, yes. Love is love is love is love. I literally had a moment where I was like, I get what Lin-Manuel was talking about now.
Yeah.
Like, love is love is love.
So true.
Like, why are they trying to keep them apart?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, Yeah, so when we're talking about it being stylized, so in this conversion camp called, what is it? New Directions?
True
True
Direction?
Direction, yeah.
One Direction?
One Direction. Once you admit that you're a homosexual, they give you clothes that you have to wear the entire duration of your stay, and all the girls have to wear pink and all, like, head to toe pink, and all the guys have to wear blue, and the whole house has like pink and blue on it, and it's very, like, the bedroom is for the girls is literally just pink. And I think it was also a good choice too, because not only, like, I think you're so right, it plays into like how silly and crazy it is, but I feel like it also plays into like the campiness of the comedy and like the total vibe of this movie. It's very like, it doesn't feel like a real world scenario, and like it doesn't feel like the real world. It is campier than the real world, so I feel like it helps tie you into like that sort of comedy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I do feel like I really liked how they had Melanie. They had Natasha Lyonne's character. She was like, I'm not gay. Like, like, she fully was not even like, it wasn't on the table for her. She was like, I have a boyfriend who she like hated kissing, and like, you know, everyone thinks like me though. Like, everyone thinks women's bodies are beautiful or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
and she has like the like pictures of like bikini models in her locker, and she like thinks it's totally normal,
which I feel like is probably a common experience. Is like, they're just like, you know, what do you mean? They're like, you're a vegetarian.
Yeah. And I thought that was interesting too, because in the article with Variety, Jamie Babbitt talks about how it was really important for her as a femme lesbian to like make a movie about being femme and how it's okay. And that was just so funny to me, because I feel like obviously we live in New York and we went to NYU, so I feel like I never even thought about what that would even mean in 1999 2000 to like make a movie about being a femme lesbian, because like, I don't know, I obviously know that there's not like one way to look when you're gay, but like in 1999 2000, like the mainstream audience wouldn't necessarily know that. I also thought it was really funny how there's that one gal who looks the most like butch, or like has like the unibrow and the mustache,
and she was like, I'm straight.
Yeah, she was like, I'm not gay, like I actually am not gay. I was like, slay. We love the messaging there. And it was also a funny moment.
I really do wonder, like, I'd be curious to, I guess, talk to somebody who was in high school when this movie came out, like, how, because I know, like, I mean, the homophobia in, like, the early 2000s for high school, I know a lot of, you know, gay people were bullied, and, like, it was just really bad. So, like, I'm curious if it, like, if it made it better, if it was better, just, like, obviously, like, it's different personal experience, but like, I wonder, school wide, was it like people actually were more understanding, or like, were they even meaner to, you know, gay people in their schools? I'm just very curious, like, what the reaction would, what the impact would have been like in a high school.
Yeah, I'm curious.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Yeah.
I also thought it was interesting because, did you read about how this movie was made and the process of how it was made?
No.
I thought this was interesting because I know we were talking a couple episodes ago about how with adaptation, like you never really know, like you don't get the step by step of how a movie was made. Typically it's like, oh, this person, somehow their script got in the hands of whoever, whatever. So basically, Jamie Babbitt, this is her directorial debut. She had made 2 short films, and she was working just as a PA on set, whatever, trying to like hone her craft, she said. And she met Clea Duvall at a coffee shop and wanted her to be in her short film. So she made the short film, and it was going to premiere at Sundance. Mm-hmm. And then she purposely made sure that she knew that what she wanted to make the story be. She grew up, her mom actually ran a halfway home for addicts. So like, this is really the world that she like grew up in. So she wanted to make a comedy about addicts and rehab, but then she decided she actually wanted to make it about conversion therapy. And so she felt like she didn't have the writing chops to pull it off. So she actually brought in a writer.
I saw that. I did see that.
Yeah. And so then they planned to have a script for Sundance so they could like pitch it to people. They met a producer, showed him the script. He liked it. And so first the budget, he like fully financed it. And it was first $500,000. And then when they started production, it became $1 million. And that's that. And then apparently Clea Duvall like brought in most of the cast, like very weird. I don't know. Apparently Natasha Lyonne, did you see this? She was in the car with Clea Duvall because they were just friends. And Clea Duvall she was like auditioning. She hadn't even, or no, that doesn't make sense. She had the role because duh. Mm-hmm. Natasha Lyonne, I can't speak. Natasha Lyonne looked at the script and was like, I want to be in this. And so she called her agent, and then there you go. Apparently she was not the first choice for Megan either. There was one actor who was attached, but then decided to turn it down because of religious beliefs. Apparently they had a hard time finding an actor to play Megan because so many actors were scared of playing a gay character.
A gay?
Yeah, a gay. And it was interesting because the Variety article asked Jamie Babbitt if she thought that... It was funny because in the article, the interviewer was like, well, thank God things have changed. And Jamie Babbitt was like, you think so? And the interviewer was like, what, you don't think so? And Jamie Babbitt, which is funny because I saw someone else say this. Maybe you'll remember which actress. It was like recently in the news. Jamie Babbitt was like, I know so many actors who are closeted who still to this day will not take roles where they'll play like an openly gay person because they think it'll like restrict them and then they won't pass as straight and it will pigeonhole them. Kate Winslet literally was just talking about this in April of this. Oh no, this is 2021. Why did I see this recently headlining? I don't know. Kate Winslet said that she also personally knows a lot of gay actors who are still in the closet, which is just so fascinating to me because it's freaking 2024.
I get that though. I mean, in the industry, yeah, I feel like as soon as you come out and are like, I'm gay, like you're going to get offered every gay role. You're not going to get offered the straight roles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how you present to the public really impacts like how marketable the studios find you and stuff. I do think it's funny though, like normally your memory is not that great and you're like 2021 article. You just plucked that up out of nowhere.
No, it definitely like was just on TikTok recently, like resurfaced. That I do.
That'd
remember.
be so impressive though if you were just like,
no,
or that
definitely not
3 years ago.
I
wrote literally, girl, is it that bitch from Before Sunrise? Also, can I just say, Melanie Lynskey, it always surprises people when because she's Australian, and it always surprises people when she is.
I know.
They discover she's Australian. That bitch is not supposed to be Australian. I'm gonna say it right now. That is not somebody who should have an Australian accent. I look at her and I'm thinking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I hear Nicole Kidman in an English voice, whatever, she'll do like an American accent or a British accent. I'm like, that makes sense to me. And then she does Australian. I'm like, oh yeah, that also makes sense to me. Melanie Lynskey with an Australian accent, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
No, I agree. Also, it just felt like I was curious about that choice for this movie too.
It did feel out of place.
It felt out of place. I was like, why is there an Australian bitch?
I think it's also because her Australian accent is like so strong. Yeah, it's like,
so
hello?
Strong. Yeah.
My name is Melanie.
Comical, honestly. Yeah.
And are you a gay?
But yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
Well, it's funny because Clea Duvall was closeted during filming this.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Which is crazy because to me, I'm like, oh, this is like, especially because I know her post-outing. She came out in 2016.
Yeah.
Like, and that I think is like how I became probably more aware of her. But like, if I were to look at her, I'd be like, that's a gay.
I know, it's just.
Like, she's getting big Kristen Stewart energy.
Yeah.
So
it's so like, sad. It's just so sad that like she felt the need to be closeted.
Especially like think about like that set was probably so accepting and it's like,
oh my god,
she's
I'm sure
probably
she
thinking,
was like so afraid.
Yeah.
Natasha Lyonne being straight is crazy.
It really is crazy that she's straight.
I found a really funny quote from her about her sexuality. Natasha Lyonne said of her sexuality, I look at sex more as what's this mischief I can get into? I'm in this third category. My sexuality and gender is more like merry prankster.
I love that so much, and I will be adopting that as my own description of my sexuality.
Yeah.
It's such a fun way to think about it, honestly. Just like, what kind of shenanigan can I get into?
I'm obsessed with Natasha Lyonne.
Kind of a dangerous path as well. Because I feel like if you're just thinking, what kind of shenanigans am I going to do? It could go pretty crazy pretty fast.
Yeah, she definitely has crazy sex. Yeah. God bless. Good for her.
She was dating Fred Armisen for a while.
So long. Just so funny to me.
Yeah.
He just seems like...
He's like a frog.
Yeah.
It's like if a frog was a man.
We know who the alpha was in that relationship.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
We know who was topping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I also... I did a lot of research for this episode, so I'm just going to keep yapping at you. Natasha Lyonne, right? Anywho, so Natasha Lyonne, she grew up on the Upper East Side, just like me. She went to this Jewish school called Ramaz, which is literally a block away from where I grew up. But then she was expelled her sophomore year because she was selling weed to her fellow classmates. But then I'm saying this all out of order because she was a child actress. She was in Pee-wee's Playhouse. Did you ever watch Pee-wee's Playhouse?
I did not.
I love Pee-wee's Playhouse. It's one of my favorite things ever. R.I.P. Pee-wee Herman. He died this year. That's really sad. This year? Yeah. He had cancer.
I feel like he died last year.
Like, this past year. It might have been a year ago. It's already June.
True.
Anywho. R.I.P. Although, apparently, there was some weird stuff about him, so...
Oh. I mean, his name is Pee-wee.
P-U. Am I right? But... And then at
Pee-wee's
age
Playhouse?
16... I know, but it was so good. But then at 16, she scored the role in a Woody Allen.
Everything you're saying is like, it's just getting worse and worse.
But it's just so interesting because she was like basically working as a kid and then in high school. Movie? It was a musical comedy that she was in. I don't know what it's called. I don't know. Some Woody Allen thing.
Yeah.
But basically, then she moved to Miami with her mom. She said that she basically was estranged from her family and on her own from the age of 16 onwards. She then went to Tisch for less than a year because then she couldn't afford tuition for film, among all other things. Mm-hmm. Among other things? I don't know what I'm saying. And then she books But I'm a Cheerleader. So that's her path.
Damn.
Which makes so much sense for her, I feel like, is just getting expelled, moving a bunch. Mm-hmm. Woody Allen.
I've heard she's crazy to work for. Like, that assistant position opened up and they were like, don't take it.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, in a mean way or just in erratic way?
I don't know if in a mean way, just in a way of, like, it's too crazy and chaotic. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was also in a mean way. I didn't get a lot of details. But just in a way of, like, if you value your sanity, you should not work for her.
Yeah, if that makes sense for her. But I hope it's in just a, like, wow, I'm a crazy actor.
I can imagine it being like she's probably a difficult person to like nail down. Yeah. Like, especially in terms of like scheduling and setting meetings. I'm sure she's like, you know, hey, whatever.
Yeah. That was good. That was really good. It was actually, speaking of you doing that voice, going back to the movie we're talking about.
Yeah.
Really fun to see her in such a feminine role where she's like so beautiful and like has this like luscious hair, because like I really only know her from Orange Is the New Black.
Oh, I don't think I've seen her in anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And she's like the complete opposite, where she's just like that, like smoking and like
yeah,
and like having lots of vulgar sex and being like,
yeah,
come here. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently she also got a shoulder tattoo like 2 days before filming began. Because she got blackout drunk and then just got a tattoo, and the director was like, why did you do this? And she was like, I don't remember, actually.
I wish I could recall. Oh. That wasn't as good.
But I still liked
that one went a little bit too masculine.
Yeah.
I just kind of became a soprano.
Anywho, I did read something in the Variety article that reminded me of something you said season 1.
Oh, okay.
About how the industry is specifically designed to keep people in who are already in and to keep the people out. And the Variety article, apparently Jamie Babbitt, who I love Jamie Babbitt.
What else has she done? Has she directed other stuff?
Yeah, she directs. She's kind of pivoted more towards television. So she's done Gilmore Girls, Marvelous Mrs. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She did Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne.
This makes sense.
So I think she's doing more TV than movies. But she has done other movies. She did like apparently a horror movie after But I'm a Cheerleader. I don't know. But
hey, that's not our job. Our job is this movie.
I like that. Yeah. But apparently the interviewer in Variety asked her about when she was doing press for But I'm a Cheerleader. She was talking about how there's racism at every level of Hollywood. And he was like, do you think anything's changed? And she was like, no. And she was just talking about how obviously in order to do anything in Hollywood, you either need to know people or work for free for a while doing like production work or something. And the only people who can actually afford to work for free or work for very, very little
are wealthy people.
Are people who have support networks.
Yeah.
And obviously the Venn diagram of like minorities and people who have like lots of money in America is not the...
What an odd coinky-dink.
Yeah. So it's funny because she was saying that when she was working in Atlanta, she needed an assistant, and her like I don't know if it was for But I'm a Cheerleader or something else, but the production team was like, oh, like look at this list of all these people we've curated for you that have been assistants before. And she was like, no, I want to put an ad on Craigslist and I'm sure we can find someone who's amazing. And she was like, she got like 1,000. Oh.
Sorry about that, folks.
But
manic.
She got like 1,000 responses, she said, from overqualified people in Atlanta who are mainly people of color.
Yeah.
And so she like hired someone and like had the most amazing assistant, and she's like, that's how I always do it now, because she's trying to fight against the stupid reality of Hollywood of like, yeah.
We need to talk to this woman.
I love her. She sounds amazing.
I'm like, if you're still interested in helping people out.
Yeah, right? Oh my God.
Yeah, that is so great. And also I just think it's so like amusing, like how the industry likes to tell itself it's changed, and it's so, you know, people are so like, ugh, it's so politically correct now, and now there's gay people and everything, and black people and everything. Girl, where?
Yeah.
I'd like to see what all you're talking about.
You know what's actually really bothered me this week? I wanted to talk to you about it. So, the Actors Roundtable. The Hollywood Reporter does the Actors Roundtable. Like, they do, like, a drama, a comedy, whatever.
Yes.
This past week, they announced they, like, put out their issue for, like, the Actors Drama Roundtable. Mm-hmm. It is literally just white men and then one black guy. And I feel like I remember a couple years ago, like maybe post 2020, the Hollywood Reporter, every roundtable, it was like I felt like they were really trying to like usher in like so much diversity. And for them to like literally out of all the actors ever who have been in anything successful this year, chosen like 6 white guys and 1 black guy, like maybe it's just because I live in New York. I don't remember the last time I saw a group of just 6 white guys just like hanging out with each other. Like, it just feels so...
I unfortunately have, and that's because they emigrated here from North Carolina.
Oh.
Everybody from UNC Chapel Hill has like moved up here, and now they travel in packs. Interesting.
Very interesting. But I just think it's so ridiculous.
Do you know who was the black guy? What show?
I didn't actually look into what was going on. I just saw the photo and got mad at it.
Yeah.
Let's see. So these are the people in the actors roundtable. It's Jon Hamm.
Well, let's see. What shows? The morning show.
Is he in the morning show?
Jon Hamm is.
Okay. David Oyelowo.
I'm not sure what show he's in.
Let's see. It must say he's in Lawman Bass Reeves. I have no idea what that is.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Then we have Clive Owen.
Clive Owen. What show?
Monsieur Spade. A Murder at the Edge of the World.
At the End of the World?
Yeah, at the end of the world.
Okay, that's the new one that had like Emma Corrin. Okay, but I don't. Okay.
Nicholas Galitz. I have no idea.
Galatzine. That's crazy that he's
Marion
in there.
George and Callum Turner, Masters of the Air.
Also crazy that he's in there because they're both like new on the scene and they've both been in like essentially one popular show each. They definitely should have had his name is Jacob something, but the guy who was in the Game of Thrones. There's Interview with the Vampire. That's like supposed to be a great show. I've been wanting to watch it. Don't have the platform it's on, but like exactly, it's like these two should not be there. Like this show. No offense to him.
They can't see what you're pointing.
I know,
at.
but I'm saying like I haven't like the shows aren't even like.
Yeah, and
are
even
they that big?
Even if these were actually the 6 actors from the biggest shows, that's still an issue to me.
Here's the thing, though. It's stuff like this because the Hollywood Reporter is not picking, okay, what are the top shows? It's not like this thing that the Hollywood Reporter's picking. It's agents and people calling them and saying, that's why, for instance, like, Callum Turner's in there because Masters of the Air, I'm sure was a big push from Apple.
Yeah.
It's promotion.
Yeah.
So you have a push from Apple, probably a push from George Clooney, who directed that show. So that's why it's all just like who is promoting stuff. And typically what they're promoting is not stuff with black people in it. I mean, think about Bad Boys, like Ride or Die just came out this past weekend. And the news has all been like, oh my gosh, it's overperforming so much. Oh my God, we didn't expect it to do this much. And everyone's like, well, why didn't you expect it to do this much? Like, because you weren't thinking about black audiences?
Yeah.
But, like, it is just crazy because now they're thinking, their thinking is like, oh, we need to get, like, one person of color in there. But, like, they're not, who they're going to, who's on their lists for stuff is Sydney Sweeney, Jacob Elordi. Like, all the new class white girly pops.
Yeah.
And that includes boys. Like, Glenn Powell. It's like, it's the same people because that's like, you know, they're catering to everybody or the majority, and the majority of America is racist.
Yeah. It's such a shame. And honestly, it makes me feel better about myself because like I am not in places where I would go into a room and have these 5 white men staring back at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it is like honestly shocking. Like this photo is shocking to me where I'm like, ugh, it just like really unsettles me for some reason. Like
I mean, the women is definitely the same way. I would doubt they're even.
No, the women, it's like it is
better?
the same. It's 2 people of color as opposed to just one.
And I feel like too, like as soon as there's one, like I feel like right now it's Ayo Adibri. Yeah. Like right now, it's like they kind of pick one and they're like, we're gonna give her everything. Like it's Zendaya, it's her, and then it's like once they know that there's like 1 or 2 black people that like the public is like used to seeing, comfortable seeing, they're just gonna give them everything. Halle Berry. It's like they keep it limited. They don't like, you know, expand outward of like finding new talent of color.
Yeah, it's such a shame. I don't know. Oh, here it is. Oh,
which I thought like, and like I really appreciated that here because at least like it definitely, I read that like, you know, Jamie Babbitt wanted a more diverse cast.
Yeah, she specifically, because it's interesting because at first when I was reading about it, apparently I don't remember which actress it was. They were really interested in casting one specific actress who is Hispanic, but then they decided against it for Megan because they were like, I think we really need it to be like the all-American girl. And so then Jamie Babbitt was like, well, I need to make sure that like the rest of the cast is as diverse as possible and that it accurately represents what the queer community actually looks like.
And I also think like it's different. Like it makes sense for Natasha Lyonne's character to be white if they're going for like that very stereotypical nuclear family of like heightened Christian evangelicalism. I definitely didn't say that right, but just like that makes sense because historically that's what that is, and like that's the point she's trying to like make about that character in that scenario.
Yeah.
So like that makes sense. But it's like if it doesn't need to be for your story,
yeah,
why not?
Yeah, literally. Ugh. Anywho. Shall we dive in?
We really yapped.
What?
I like don't even know what we talked about for the last 45 minutes.
It's just me yapping. But yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And I think that you're right. Like, we do need to, like, address that, like, I just hate when things become so corrupted where, like, people think that because of Me Too or because of, like, all these other movements that, like, everything's fine when it's, like, maybe on the surface it can look fine, but the whole system needs to change.
Well, I feel like especially, like, think about, like, I remember in high school, everybody was like, what do you mean? Like, women and men are equal. Like, blah, 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 blah. The women's rights movement happened. And, like, the abortion law happened. Look what happened with that. Repealed. Yeah. So it's like, they're not, like, it's not. It's not something that's, like, it just, like, everyone's just going to get over it.
Yeah. And again, yeah, it's just, you can't put a Band-Aid over any of this. Yeah. You got to actually, like, if people from, like, minority backgrounds aren't able to like have the same opportunities and like even have any doors open for them in the industry because of their backgrounds or because like they don't have enough money to like work for like minimum wage for like whatever, like everything needs to change. Okay.
Yeah.
It's got to change. Anywho, shall we dive in to Romantic and Pixies?
Sure.
Layla, what was your manic from this week?
Probably just been really busy at work.
How do you manage that?
Well, I mean, I just have to focus on that. Like when it's like, okay, when it's really busy, I'm just like, I can't like not, because I can, especially working remotely, you know, I can get a little cavalier about it. I can get a little, I have a little leeway. But then when it gets, the shit gets going, I'm like, okay, I have to focus. I need to actually just do this.
Yeah.
My job. But it's all right because I'm also like, since I'm working on new material, it's not like I don't feel like I'm still thinking about it. So it's actually a nice distraction because I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to put on the page.
Yeah. That's fair. That's
very fair. What was your manic?
I don't know. I feel like I've said this before. Like, after a certain point, like, I feel like it comes in waves, ebbs and flows, but, like, just having the need for a survival job will never be fun. And, like, doing something that's not creatively fulfilling most of the time is not the most fun. But at the same time, it's, like, it does motivate me to work harder on the things that like hopefully will do something, although sometimes it can feel very like, I don't know, is this gonna do anything? Am I just working tirelessly on my creative endeavors and just for the shot at that's something I've been struggling with too, talking about like needing money to like even potentially make it in the industry. I feel like, especially this month, I have, like, no money. Like, I put myself on a very strict budget. Like, I'm just, like, And, all of these, obviously, as you know, all these competitions, all these fellowships. So
much money.
It's so much fucking money to submit your work for the slightest little chance.
Like a 0.1% chance that, like, anything will happen.
Yeah, and I'm like,
so dumb, but I'm just like, I keep giving them money.
Yeah, because that's what you have to freaking do.
Yeah.
Like, we're supposed to be doing as much as we can to make our careers happen.
Yeah.
But it's like, but I literally, like, fiscally cannot apply to all the things that I would want to apply for. Like, I just cannot, because I need to survive and buy food for myself.
Yeah.
So that's been frustrating, but I think I don't know. I was hoping that I would have like but on the bright side, but no, that's just like a cruel reality of like just life right now. It just
sucks too, because it's like I see writers and it's like, I mean, unless you're fucking Shonda Rhimes, I don't think it gets easier. It's like you're kind of constantly in this state of like, I don't have money.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's.
Yay.
Yeah, it's just hard not to see like the light at the end of the tunnel. To feel just very much like, oh, this is just how life is just for tunnel. The foreseeable future.
More tunnel.
Yeah.
You see a light and you're like, oh, it's a firefly.
Yeah.
More tunnel.
Yeah. Anywho, what's your pixie?
I just started sobbing. Been having a lot of fun thinking of drag personas for my movie.
That's fun.
That is fun. It's a lot of work. Because I have to come up with like 12 drag personas.
I don't know. Have we talked about this idea?
I don't think we have. I'm not going to tell you too much.
Oh.
But it's about some drag queens. But so I needed to come up with 12 queens.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of work.
I know. I managed to do it.
That's a lot of work to come up with 12 characters in general.
Yeah.
But especially drag queens.
Because especially, like, they all have their own thing, and, they all have to have their own, like, because drag queens, like, if you look at, like, real drag queens, they're so, like, some of them can be so random, so, like, you would never, like, it's not, like, an obvious thing. So I'm like, okay, what's, like, the craziest thing they could be or something? But so that's been fun, I guess.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. What's your pixie?
My pixie, I feel like I've really gotten in the zone this week. Like, I feel like I have been, like, really trying to, like, be a good little writer. Mm-hmm. And I've been, like, listening to my favorite screenwriting podcast, Script Notes. Craig Mason, The Last of Us. We stan. But yeah, I've been listening to my little podcast. I've been like saying this for so long. Like, obviously in college I would read a lot of scripts because I was in college for screenwriting. But I really haven't, like, every time I'm like reading a book, I'm like, I should be reading a script right now. Like, I should be like, and I feel like you obviously do that all the time for your job. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like I sometimes get so in my head about, like, formatting and, like, making sure that I'm, like, doing things right.
Well, have you seen, though, like, there's so many different formatting things. There's definitely not, like, they fucking lie to you in school. Yeah. Like, there's not one way to format a screenplay. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that makes me feel so much better, honestly. So I was reading a bunch of scripts last week, and I decided I'm not... like, I don't see myself as a TV writer, but I don't really have a pilot in my portfolio. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to write a first draft of a pilot in 2 weeks and then go from there. So I'm like, I set up a little schedule for myself. I'm on day 3. Nice. And I'm like feeling very pumped about that, of just like, I need to lock in. I need to churn things out. Here we go. So
yes,
I'm in my writer mode. So yeah, that's that.
Can you give us anything about the pilot?
No. Oh. I will not. But I will say that it is like a future idea that I had, and then I was like, actually, I think this could be a good, like, idea for a show instead.
Okay.
So I changed it to a pilot. But yeah, that's all I'll say.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's a lot better than last week, I feel.
Yeah. Big time.
Not in your flop era.
Yeah.
Anymore.
I still feel like I'm flopping.
Aren't we all?
We'll see.
Aren't we all?
Anywho,
next week,
I'm excited. We're going to be talking about Jennifer's Body.
Jennifer's Body.
Yes, sirree.
And you've never seen it.
I've never seen it, but you've seen it?
I have seen it.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Diablo Cody.
Yeah, I love Diablo Cody. I love Juno.
Juno's great.
Juno's great. I've heard so much about Jennifer's Body. I love feminism. I love any movie about violence against men.
Another basically queer movie in Pride Month.
Yes. Look at us.
Look at us.
2 straighties. We're allies.
Say straighties?
Yeah, straighties.
Yeah, it's a lame name for it, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Heteros?
That's worse, I feel like.
It is worse. Pixie Sticks, think of a name for what can we call straight people?
I like that Pixie Stick stuck.
It did.
Yay.
I don't know, I guess what else was on the table?
Other than Pixie Sticks?
Yeah.
The Manic Bunch.
Tag yourself. If you had just called them that enough times, I bet they'd be the Manic Bunch by now.
Yeah, maybe it's like we'll have 2 fan bases that are like warring with each other. Like, what are you, the Pixie Sticks or the Manic Bunch? Kind of like the way I said it too, the Manic Bunch.
You said it like it's definitely like an old sounding term.
The Manic Bunch. Watch out, people.
It's like you're describing like heathens.
Yeah,
I'm like on an old
I'm on the radio. I'm like, the Manic Bunch have been rampaging throughout the streets.
Look at that's really good.
Thank you.
Okay, Walter Cronkite.
Yes.
In other news, JFK has been assassinated.
Look out, people. The Manic Bunch.
The Manic Bunch is rampaging the coast of California.
Anywho.
We'll see you next week, you Pixie Sticks. Hey, we need like a catchphrase.
Yeah.
Like an old news broadcast.
Yeah.
Stay manic, you Manic Bunch.
Stay manic.
Stay golden,
Manic
Bonnie
Bunch.
boy.